So guys, we're heading towards Ogle at this point on the east coast bypass road. That's looking back where we came from, looking north towards the East Coast Highway and the new canal that is being built there. That's the 20-foot wide storm drain that is being built beside the highway. So they've completed this section we're stepping on now. Right, there's about a quarter of a mile or so that has to be completed beside this storm drain that are being built, that they're constructing, that they're replacing. But this part of the highway now has been completed in terms of surface. Actually, seems as if this is a new surface, a new smoother surface since the last time we were here about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And what is clear here is they've added another layer, like 2 to 3 inches of asphalt onto the surface. I don't know if this is the final layer, but they seem to have added and rolled another layer of asphalt onto this east side of the highway, and that's the west side with a detour into Ogle. The median still has to be completed, so this is the median at this section. All right, that's what the median is. There's some cows. Of course, this is still rural Guyana. So there's some cows grazing on the median at this point, and some more cows on the side of the road that is between the fence. That's the Ogle Airport property fence and the road. Like I said, straight ahead, that is the Ogle Airport complex, now called Eugene F. Correa Airport. Right, that's what it looks like from this distance. And then, of course, straight ahead, that is also a new hotel, the new AC Marriott Hotel. We've seen that last time we were here. But what we're doing today is taking a walk through the entire length of this East Coast bypass road to see how much of it has been completed. But currently, it is officially closed because I guess they're still working on the finer finishing touches, putting in the street lights, completing the median warning, and I guess building out the shoulder of the road. But they certainly have made progress. This, for example, now has lines. They've put in the road markings on this section. Right, this is a section of the road that is closed off from traffic. See that it is this? That's the detour that sends traffic to Ogle Airport. All right, that's the traffic going to Ogle. What they've done is they've put in the road markings here. Seems as if they're 3 lanes at this point. I'm actually walking in the middle of the inside lane. So if this width continues and they keep the markings, what you have is, I guess, 2 lanes. There's another aircraft taking off from Ogle. This reminds us that we are at Ogle. Ogle Airport. So there are a number of aircraft crashes in the US recently, which tells me that conditions are still dangerous. That is, flying is still a dangerous activity, and we ought to always be on our guard for safety and proper airworthiness of our aircrafts. But that's a local aircraft taking off from Ogle. Seems as if there's a lot of construction work also going on here in the complex. I don't know what they're building. I assume there's a parking lot, but it could be more buildings associated with the Ogle Airport complex. But here on the East Coast Road, they have completed the markings, like I said, and at this point, there are 3 lanes. I guess what is also going to become this turning lane, I guess is going to become some kind of, what is it? At this point, it looks like it's going to be a widened shoulder, I guess, for emergency vehicles, emergency stops. I thought it's going to be an exit lane, but it seems to make a weird comeback, narrowing again to 3 lanes. So I don't know what that is. Don't know what that widening is. I think it probably was supposed to be a turning lane. We'll see what happens when they've completed it. Might have been a mistake because the culvert here is actually quite narrow. But yeah, this is what's happening, guys. We make it up as we go along. At least that's what it appears to be doing here. These road markings. We seem to be making it up. Anyway, so this is supposed to be a 4-lane highway, but the markings at this point suggest 6 lanes. Suggest 3 lanes on this side. Unless that inside lane is a turning lane, which it doesn't seem to be. Pretty long turning lane it would be. I guess we'd have to wait and see how that shakes out in the end. But this is the interchange or the exit for Ogle Airport from one of the lanes, but it seems to continue so that you can go past the Ogle Airport turn off, and keep going south. All right, this is what Ogle Airport entrance looks like. That's the entrance to Ogle Airport. Traffic exiting to Ogle Airport will head in that direction. Now straight ahead, the road continues. East Coast Bypass Road continues. Tells you now this is warning construction zone. Private vehicles not permitted. And that's one of the trucks going through. So again, focusing on the road markings, they've added road markings on this road. They've added road markings, and it seems as if they now have 3 lanes. So this is probably going to be a 6-lane highway instead of 4. No, actually it's 4 lanes because this lane is probably a merging lane. So for traffic, I guess continuing south has to merge right, as the median gets wider at this point. Anyway, this is where we are. We are at Ogle. This is some new construction. Don't know if that is a residential building being constructed here, but I've been following it for several years. For a long time it was stalled. Construction was stalled. And then recently, as in 6 months ago, They started working on it again. So now it's much closer to completion. This is the AC Marriott Hotel complex. Right, that's the AC Marriott Hotel. And this area here, those guys are working on the road, Indian Nationals. Yeah, they just waved hello. Like we said, this road here, this hotel complex is going to extend all the way. So the entrance is going to be somewhere at the end here. So they're going to put an entrance here. And I guess all of this is going to be the drive up to the hotel and parking. And then maybe they're going to build a parking garage. I see some stumps. I have no idea what those are. But I guess they will eventually make sense when it's completed. But this is what the hotel looks like at this point. That is the north facing end of the hotel. And we're looking now as we come around the side at the east side, the east facing side. And of course, it's wider on the east facing side. And that doesn't seem to be, or at least this side, doesn't seem to have any kind of entrance. In other words, it's not possible to get access to the hotel from the highway, from this East Coast Bypass Road. So this, I would say, is the back of the hotel, if you can think of it in those terms, because there's no entrance, there's no drive-in, no bridge access to the hotel. But this is what it looks like. The AC Marriott Hotel looks like. It's the 12th of April, Saturday morning, about 8:30 in the morning, Saturday the 12th of April. And you can see a lot of the construction workers busy at work. So they're gonna, I guess, eventually hang the tiles, the facade onto these steel braces eventually. But the tiles have already been hung on the face of the hotel itself, which seems to be black and gray in color. So those are the chosen colors. It's kind of charcoal or very dark color, and some light colors interspaced. So that's what the hotel looks like on the 12th of April. Now, these guys have added a guardrail since the last time we were here. It seems as if they're adding guardrails, at least at this point, to the road. Morning. Yeah. Yeah, we're just taking the road.
Okay.
So they're actually working on the guardrails at this point, and they seem to have completed the other side. So this is the median they're working on here, and on the other side, they also seem to have completed the road surface. So this is the eastern side of the highway. Okay, so that's the AC Marriott Hotel. We're now standing on the eastern side of this East Coast Bypass Road at Ogle, and it seems to continue. They've added the surface, added asphalt and rolled the surface. So it's actually quite smooth already. And they're actually adding, these guys who are working on the side of the road are adding guardrails. And they've added more of these street lights.
Distance 8 miles. Duration 2 hours 48 minutes 6 seconds.
So they've
Pace
added,
25 minutes 23 seconds per mile.
so it seems as if they've added more